What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today, it's time to start looking at decks which are winning in the Digimon TCG that are featuring BT9. BT9 is out in Japan now, which means people are playing tournaments with it, which means we need to have a good old chat about it. And we're going to start off with a green deck, because I'm going to be honest with you, I like green decks. And that makes me very happy. Shout out to the lovely folks over at Ensan Gaming over on Twitter for sharing this deck with us. And to the lovely Guanrong, and I'm probably pronouncing that terribly, for which I can only apologise, who went and won with Grandiskuwagamon. A card which I was not sure was going to be great, but it was a deck I was very excited to try out and have a big play with. And it seems like it is really good, which is nice because it's one of the decks I was most looking forward to coming around in BT9. But as always, we need to start back at the beginning. We need to have a little bit of a look at the DIGITAMA. Now, as we often see here, there is a 4-1 split, and the 4 we've got is the Yokomon from BT5. On your turn, when this card is trashed by activating Digiburst, one of your Digimon gains 2,000 power for the turn. It's important to note that it is any of your Digimon that gets the power, not necessarily the one that Digivolved from Yokomon. So that's kind of cool, but it just gives you a boost. And basically, right, if you're playing a Digiburst deck, this is one to really keep in mind. And then we've got a one-off here. We are talking the Gummymon from EX2. On your turn, once per turn, when your opponent's Digimon becomes suspended, draw a card. And suspending opponent's Digimon is the kind of thing we do, frankly. That is, you know, it's quite a green thing to do, so that sounds good to me. Moving into level 3s, there is a playset which you're going to be expecting. It's a promo, it's annoying, but you kind of got to have it. It's too gosh darn good. It's the promo Palmon. And if you're thinking, well, hang on a second, that's popping up in all the green decks lately. Yes. Yes, it is, ladies and gentlemen. It is quite frankly that gosh darn good. Because when this Digimon triggers Digiburst and trashes this card, one of your Digimon gains jamming for the turn. Jamming, of course, meaning that you will not be deleted by security Digimon regardless of how powerful they are. I suppose if you're not playing any Digiburst in your green deck, you don't need to play this, but if you are, it's just an absolutely over-the-top phenomenal card. We've then got ourselves a new green Digimon that came around in BT9. It is Kokuwamon X Antibody. And when you play or Digivolve, you reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, and you add a Digimon with Insectoid or Machine in its traits, and an X Antibody option card to your hand. The remaining cards go to the bottom of your deck in any order. Well, we'll get there in a minute, but we are playing X Antibody. We're not actually playing any Kokuwamon, so you can't actually Digivolve this. You can, but you Digivolve it in the raising area and you don't get the skill. And you can't Digivolve from Kokuwamon for 0 because you're not playing Kokuwamon. But that's not really the point here, ladies and gentlemen. The point is, this is a very good skill that's going to help you get going, and that's a good thing. We've then got the Lalamon from BT4. When this Digimon triggers Digiburst and trashes this card, return the card to your hand. Look, clearly at this point we're building up to Digiburst, right? And we've got a bunch of cards that want to be Digibursted away, because generally speaking, the downside of Digiburst is you have to trash your Digivolution cards. So if we can find ourselves a whole bunch of cards that want to be Digibursted, so we're actually getting an advantage, that's clearly a good thing, and something we can all just be pretty happy about. We then have 2 copies of the Goblimon from BT1 and 2 copies of the Argamon from BT2. It doesn't really matter which one of these you play, ladies and gentlemen. These are the same card. They are 2 cost to play level 3s. And it really is as simple as that. Unless you've got a card that particularly refers to the name of one of them, and I don't think we do here, it makes no real difference which one you play. They are just cheap to play level 3s, so why would you not, ladies and gentlemen? Why would you not? Moving over into level 4s, we get ourselves Weedmon, and Weedmon is a 1-cost to Digivolve, and frankly, that's a bit of a big deal. But also, when it's trashed because of Digiburst, you gain a memory. Once again, we've got cheap Digivolution, and we've got a skill which is going to help out when it gets trashed due to Digiburst, which means Digiburst keeps winning for us. This is clearly a very good thing. Speaking of one cost to Digivolve level 4s, we've also got a blocker coming in here. It is Kawaterimon from the starter deck. It's a one cost to Digivolve blocker. And that's it, right? That's all we're looking at. But you need blockers, because if you don't have blockers, your opponent can often just run over you. And it's one cost to Digivolve, which is clearly cheaper than your average level 4. You put those two together and you're loving it. Sure, you've got to pay 2 memory in order to attack. You're not going to attack with this. It's a blocker. You're going to be fine. But we've also got a hybrid rolling in here as well. Just kind of, random hybrid, just slipping it in just in case. It is the Arbamon from BT6, and it's literally just a hybrid Digimon. You can Digivolve from a green Tamer as if it was a level 3 Digimon. And it's as simple as that. And this is not a deck which is relying on Digivolving from Tamers. It's not a full-on hybrid deck. But we're playing some Tamers. And if we're playing some Tamers, wouldn't it be nice to at least have the option here of being able to Digivolve them? Frankly, I think it would. Now moving over to level 5, obviously we've got ourselves some Blossomon here. Shouldn't really surprise anyone. Blossomon is nuts. It is a free cost to Digivolve, but it's got download or Digisorption -3. What that means is you can suspend one of your other Digimon, and then you don't have to actually pay to Digivolve, which is clearly nuts. That's clearly an absolutely ridiculous over-the-top skill. And along similar lines, we've got our token One of Argamon. Be nice if we could play more, because that's the same thing, but it's got an inheritable skill that lets you play a level 3 green Digimon from your hand suspended without paying its cost. Clearly Argamon is nuts, but there's a reason why that card got restricted. Because to be honest with you, it's literally too good. Now, we've also got ourselves an Okuamon here. This one is a promo. And what you've got is that on your turn, when this Digimon would Digivolve into a Digimon with Insectoid in its traits, all of your opponent's Digimon gain, on all turns, when this Digimon is suspended, lose a memory until the next time your opponent's turn ends. Basically, your opponent is continually losing memory every time their Digimon gets suspended, which you can do on your turn, or is going to happen naturally on their turn when they attack, etc. It's a pretty brutal skill, honestly. It's one that, it's going to hurt. Not you, but it is absolutely going to hurt your opponent. This is the kind of thing which is going to make a pretty big deal as the game goes along. And then going along with that, we've got from BT9 the brand new Okuamon X Antibody, which can Digivolve from an Okuamon for 0. Clearly quite good. When Digivolving, if you've got an Okuamon or X Antibody Digivolution card, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. And then if you're attacking, you can switch the target of the attack to one of your opponent's suspended Digimon. And we have had an official ruling on this that says that yes, you can redirect the attack to the newly suspended Digimon, which basically lets you attack an unsuspended Digimon, which is clearly good. Then on your turn, when this Digimon would Digivolve into a card with Insectoid in its traits, reduce the cost by 1. So you've got slightly cheaper Digivolution, which is clearly a good thing. Now, moving over into level 6s, we know there's going to be some Digiburst going on. We have seen so many of these Digimon that just gain huge advantages by being Digibursted away, so it shouldn't surprise anyone we got a playset of the promo Grandiskuwagamon, one of the coolest green cards we've seen. Because Digiburst 2, one of your Digimon gains security attack +1. And incidentally, you can do that twice, because you should have the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 5. So that basically gives you an extra 2 security attacks from each Grandiskuwagamon, which is clearly brilliant. That's clearly a great thing. And we've got all of those cards I've previously shown you, which give you big advantages when you Digiburst. This is a given, alright? This had to be in here. And I know it's a lot of what we've seen in other green decks. Hey, we got good Digiburst skills and then we build up into Grandiskuwagamon, but there's a reason why we see it in so many of these green decks. But we got enough other cool new stuff here to make us pretty happy. Speaking of other cool new stuff, I told you we were building up to Grandiskuwagamon, And we absolutely are. Now, this one digivolves as a 1-cost from Grandiskuwagamon. And oh look, we are playing a full playset of Grandiskuwagamon. So once you get that out, essentially you get out your Grandiskuwagamon, use your Digiburst, and after you've used the Digiburst, that promo Grandiskuwagamon ain't that good. So then you Digivolve up into Grandiskuwagamon and you keep going. On Digivolution, you suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, and then if this Digimon is attacking, you can switch the target of the attack to one of your opponent's suspended Digimon. Like we said a moment ago, we have had an official ruling here that yes, the Digimon you just suspended can be made the target. On your turn, this Digimon gets 4,000 extra power. That's 16,000, and we've seen like 2 Digimon that have that. This basically outpowers everything. And at the end of the attack, once per turn, if this Digimon has Grandiskuwagamon or X antibody in its Digivolution card, and it really should, you suspend one of your opponent's Digimon and unsuspend this Digimon. But remember that Grandiskuwagamon gives you security attack +1 for the turn. So essentially, what you can do here is use Grandiskuwagamon to give you security attack +2, and then you attack with Grandiskuwagamon, take out free security, and then because you got Grandiskuwagamon or X antibody under you, you want to spend, take out the final 2 security, and then if you've got one Digimon you can attack with other than Grandiskuwagamon, you literally win the game. Like, if you can do that Digiburst twice with a Grandiskuwagamon, and you've got one other attacker of any description, you win the game. 1-turn win. I know that's what Green have been doing for a while, but still, this is absolutely nutty. Being a green deck, the tamer we are going for here is Mimi Tachikawa. I have long told you that as far as I'm concerned, this is the best tamer they've released, and as it stands at the moment, I see no reason to go away from this. What we've got here is at the start of your turn, if you're not a free memory, you go to free. But also, if you've got a level 5 or higher green Digimon, you basically suspend Mimi to get an extra breeding phase. Either hatching an egg or moving it from the breeding area out. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And remember, we've had that ruling where if you hatch a Digimon during your breeding phase, and then use Mimi Tachikawa to bring it out on the same turn you hatched it, you can attack that same turn. Which, gee whiz, that could surely help when you're doing the whole 1-turn win thing. Absolutely ridiculously over the top brilliant here. Yeah, there's a reason this sees so much play here. It's redonk. Now, we've also got ourselves coming in here Green Memory Boost. This is a rather lovely card, and it's a free cost, so it reveals the top 4 cards of your deck, and you put a green Digimon in your hand. Then this goes in the battle area, and on a delay gains you 2 memory. Or as a security, it goes straight to the battle area, ready to gain you 2 memory down the line. It's great. It's giving you extra consistency, and it's also allowing you to gain extra memory down the line. And again, the whole point of these delay cards is that your opponent's always got to be aware of it, and you can basically bust out plays that you shouldn't be able to do because you've got these cards there on a delay. It's great. And then finally, we've got just the X antibody option card. This is the one we've seen before. And what we've got with X antibody, it's a 0-cost card. If you have a Digimon in play, you can use this card ignoring its color requirements. Important because we ain't playing no white Digimon here. As security, you gain a memory and add it to your hand. And what it allowed you to do, again for 0 memory, is place this card as the bottom Digivolution card of one of your Digimon that doesn't already have an X antibody in its Digivolution card. You get to whack it under. And remember, right, when we're looking at Grandiskuwagamon, you get the extra skill if you've got this under. So being able to whack this under to get the skill is clearly huge. But on all turns, X antibody cannot be trashed by card effects. And when you're attacking, you may Digivolve this Digimon into a Digimon in your hand with X antibody in its traits by paying the Digivolution cost, which we can do a little bit here. Mostly this is in here just to activate the extra skills we've seen, and in that way, works alright by me, ladies and gentlemen. Works alright by me. The full deck list is on the screen, and frankly, I am loving this. Like, when BT9 comes out, there's other things I want to have a play around with, but in terms of decks that I think could actually be good, this might have just jumped to the top of my list. I think this is a very cool deck. It is one that I absolutely want to be having a play around with. This is one that I'm going to test a bunch. I think it could be really good. But I want to know what you think. Do you think it is the best new green deck, or do you think there are other green decks we should be playing instead? Let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.